What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about my extremely early thoughts on Hades 2. Much like many people online, I bought the game yesterday in early access. Let me just actually start this video by saying the game is crushing it. The user scores, I think, are like almost 100. Like, it's actually as close to what would, I guess, universally be considered a perfect game as you can possibly get. And then on top of that, I think it's reached over 100,000 concurrent players early access today on a random Tuesday. I guess it's maybe not all that random, but man, oh man, this game is probably poised to do something like 150, maybe even 200,000 by the weekend, and I am very happy to see it because let's get into my early thoughts. I didn't play too much, so there's not too much to say, but this is incredible. This is an incredible game, and as I mentioned actually yesterday on my second channel, I had seen like people coming out and saying, it doesn't matter if this is early access or not, like this is still a game of the year contender, and I've actually been normally very opposed. Like, I'm not a big fan of early access. I'm not a fan of, like, generally tech tests, betas, alphas. Like, I'll do them here and there, but I like my games to be like full and like the, I guess, complete package, right? Now, honestly, in this day and age, even most normal games aren't actually full and like fully operational when the full game launches. So I gotta actually give it up to Hades very early on for one specific thing. The game feels like a full-on game, and it's early access. And actually, studios that have their games come out fully, like day one, and they're not complete, should feel ashamed of themselves. They actually should feel ashamed of themselves anyway, but a game like Hades 2 really puts things in perspective of just how much better they are than I think. And it's not to like massively go after everybody else in a Hades 2 video here, but it's just something that I really can't get out of my head. I am stunned with the quality and just the amount of content, and I haven't even experienced all the content, but I've seen many others, right? It's incredible because most full-on games can't even say that on their launch day. And this game, in terms of, like its full-on launch, hasn't even happened yet, okay? So let's just say that early and first. Okay, the game itself, I mean, it's everything I wanted. To be honest with you, it's everything that I wanted. Hades 1 is one of my favorite games of all time, if you couldn't tell. And Hades 2, it really feels like the natural next step. It doesn't feel entirely like its own thing, hence it's a sequel. I think we've had it really good with this specific studio, right? Like, kind of jumping around. So each time you get a new game from them, it feels, it's its own thing, and it's totally original. So when Hades 1 comes out, it's like, you can maybe see influences of other games that they've done in it, but it's its own thing, right? Hades 2, there's a ton of similarities, and that's not a bad thing, right? Again, I feel like it's just building on top of what made Hades 1 so good, and it's honestly almost like what's like the bike analogy. Like, you never fully lose or forget how to, like, ride a bike. It's the same thing here. I played Hades 1 last I played it, maybe like a year and a half ago, and I really felt like I was just coming right back in, like it was a big family reunion, like nothing was ever lost. And I mean, okay, did it take me a little while to get used to it? Yeah, but you know what? My second or third run into this game was actually my longest. Like, after I got like a certain distance through, I think to the sirens, I regressed. I went backwards the next several runs. So actually, like, again, like run 2 or 3, I was actually on fire. I was cooking, and I felt really good about myself, and then it kind of all fell apart. But every strength you think of when you think of Hades 1 is in Hades 2, at least as far as my money is concerned. The game feels so good. There's very few games in terms of the combat that feel as good as this game, from the movement to the strikes to the animations, like what it looks like when you're striking, but it just feels good. It's very responsive, and that's very important for a game like this in terms of dashing, in terms of striking and long distance strikes, and even how you almost customize your character, right? That was another thing where it felt so good to kind of be back, where it's like, okay, which god am I going to encounter this time? What ability am I going to kind of equip? Am I going to go in path left or path right? Like, which one kind of makes the most sense for this run or this build that I kind of walked my character into? Hades 1 had all that, and Hades 2 really has it all again, right? But the enemies are so cool. Like, it's so cool to see new environments. It's so cool to see new enemies. You even actually get a little taste of the old stuff in Hades 1. I won't spoil the specific thing that I'm talking about, but it's all here. You got new characters. You got Kronos, right, being the main villain, and holy dear God, is he cool and very sinister. The voice acting in this game, it's to be expected. The voice acting in the first game and just the animation style and how everything looks is top tier. It's elite, right? And it's all in this one too. Every character, when they pop up on screen, they just have this energy to them. They just have this force, and it's like, let me just look at the hand-drawn art or whatever they did there. Let me just look at how these characters look like in this game because they look so good. Let me just listen to them because they always sound so fascinating and so cool. And the music in this game is so unreal. Like, if you can't tell, I very much love this game. And in just a few hours of playing it, I really feel like it's a top 2 game for me for this year. And I kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, Hades 1 is one of the better games I've ever played in my life, so I did imagine Hades 2, as long as it was even just a little bit close to Hades 1, was going to do the same thing. But I almost just forgot how much of a blast that the game is because I was just having so much fun. And again, it's very strategic. You're thinking about how to do your build, but it's just so fun. I'm trying to knock like everything that I can possibly think of. I mentioned the build a little. Like, the new weapons are so good. I mentioned the enemies. They're so good. The bosses, I'll mention the Sirens just because I think they're like the second main boss in the game, so I don't think it's spoiling it too much. I actually haven't beaten them. What an incredible freaking boss fight. Absolutely insane. And again, it really goes to the strength of this game. The enemies are different than the enemies in the first game. They look different. They feel different. You have to have a new strategy. You already need to have a new strategy because you're using different weapons, but now the enemies are different as well, so that's, additional layer. But specifically the Sirens, my wife was like, hey, what's that music? And I was like, I'm playing a freaking boss fight right now, and this is legendary because, oh my God, like the punk rock kind of band thing that they got going on is absolutely insane. So I'm just having a blast. I wanted to throw a quick video together because I'm loving it, and I'm very like entry level into this game. Like, I only played it one night. This is a game that I'm gonna be playing for a long time. Again, just kind of first initial impressions. I'll be covering it more. They're gonna be updating this game throughout the year. If you buy the game, they even tell you, and you might be able to even find it like on Google. The idea is to keep it in early access for the full year. So 2024, you're not probably gonna get the launch of the base game. That's probably gonna happen like early next year, but there's going to be new stuff. They talked about like a new region for the entire game. They talked about a new weapon, at least one new weapon. So they're going to, it's going to be updated, and that's the kind of stuff that, honestly, I don't pay too much attention to it. Like I said earlier in this video, like, I'm not big into these things, and the reason I said it, by the way, to complete my thought from 5 minutes ago, is because this is still so good. Like, normally I'm not a fan of this kind of stuff, and I just, again, I don't really need to do it. I want to play the games when they're fully out, but this game feels fully out. And even when it is fully out, honestly, here's the thing, I'll probably just get it on console. I'm playing it with a PlayStation 5 controller. I'll probably just buy it on PlayStation or Xbox a second time and play it there. I just prefer, I know PC elitist, and I think PC is probably the best place to play, but I do prefer the sit back on the TV console thing. So, it's that good of a game. Honestly, it's a game that gets someone like me, who is not an early access fan at all, as soon as I saw it was out yesterday, I immediately bought it, like without even hesitating. I told my wife, of course, but I bought that thing faster than I've bought maybe 90% of games in my entire life, okay? So I'm very happy that we actually have it. I didn't know it was coming out yesterday, so I was completely shook, and I was like, okay, I guess this is what I'm playing tonight now is Hades 2. So I'm very happy that it's out, and this is a game I'll be playing for a very long time. And hopefully I'll just keep discovering stuff because I don't think I'm very close to beating it. I think I got a long ways to go. But I was pretty good at Hades 1. Not like elite. I've seen people that are unbelievable on like YouTube and stuff that do like the speed runs and whatnot. I'm not that good, but I'm not terrible. Like I would say I'm a pretty decent Hades player. So I think I should be able to get through all of what Hades 2 has. It's just going to take me more than a day. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.